Hey guys, what's going on? In today's video, we're going to talk about if it's better to train early in the day versus later in the day, and is it better to do your cardio before or after weights? Now, I get asked this question a lot, and I can even remember being 20 years old in the bodybuilding.com forums back in the day, and people asking, Layne, should I train early in the morning or should I train later in the day? And by the same token, people say, should I do cardio first? Should I do cardio later? What should I do? Well, they're great questions. And for a long time, we just kind of had to guess. There is some data on concurrent training. And we know if you train concurrent, if you train with strength training with cardio, the cardio has a negative impact on strength training, okay, and on strength adaptations. But depending on how you do it, the type of cardio you choose, the intensity, that can make a difference as to how much that impact is. Now, if we're looking to optimize strength and hypertrophy, then getting by with as little cardio as possible is probably what we want to do. However, with getting lean enough for bodybuilding and then weight class implications for powerlifting, that might not always be possible. We might have to put some cardio in there or want to put some cardio in there. So how do we do that? Well, fortunately, the publication Mass, which is Dr. Mike Zourdos, Eric Helms, Greg Nuckols, just did a big review on this topic. And they covered several studies, and the review is fantastic. I'm gonna basically do a synopsis, but if you want to read the full review, you can subscribe to Mass. You can click the link down in the description. Phenomenal research publication, but basically is done to summarize the research so that people like anybody can read it and understand. So if you don't have a PhD, you don't have a master's, you don't want to go do that, but you still want to get the absolute best science, cutting edge scientific research on lifting weights and nutrition, Mass is a great option for you guys. So, but I'll do my best to summarize. And if you don't want to do that, you can watch a 10-minute YouTube video. So first off, does it matter? Well, when you train, years ago, I would tell people, train when you feel best. For me, that's always like mid-afternoon. I always feel really good in the mid-afternoon, even early evening. But if I try to go in at like 9 p.m., day kind of catches up to me. Same token, if I try to go in at 6 a.m. in the morning, I usually don't perform as well. I think part of that is just because I'm used to training in the afternoon. I started out in high school training in the afternoon because that was after school. That's what I got adapted to. I continued that in college, and it just became kind of my routine. So how much of that is routine versus actually physiological, I don't know. Some people, I also know that I felt better after getting several meals in me. That waking up and just having one meal, that even if you're giving it an hour or two, you still haven't really had fully time for all that food to assimilate. And so I always felt better having a few meals in me. But some people love to train fasted. Some people perform very well training fasted. They just prefer that way. Some people have kind of given the perspective that, well, testosterone is higher in the morning, and so you should train in the morning. I always felt like testosterone is probably higher in the morning because of fuel mobilization. A lot of times these short-term rises and falls in hormones are not being driven by anabolism, but rather fuel mobilization. So that was my initial feelings on training in the morning versus training after. Fortunately, Mass did this great review of this, and there was a recent study that was performed. They took, they were active men, and they had them resistance train for 24 months. That's a very long study. And they had them either train in the morning or train in the afternoon. And they had them do either cardio before weights or cardio after weights. So there's 4 groups. There's there's weights in the morning with cardio before, weights in the morning with cardio after, weights in the afternoon with cardio before, weights in the afternoon with cardio after. Okay? And they had some interesting findings. What they found, I'm going to separate these to talk about time of the day first and then cardio next. What they found was that actually training in the afternoon was slightly better for strength and hypertrophy. Now, I don't want to make this out to be like, if you train in the morning, you're going to lose all your gains. No. There is a very, very small effect on strength and hypertrophy. But it did seem to be slightly meaningful, that it was slightly better. Now, that being said, if you personally feel better training in the morning, I'm not saying to stop that, because maybe you will do better in the morning. People are different. Everybody's different. But in general, across the means, people tend to get stronger and more hypertrophy if they train in the afternoon versus in the morning. Okay? Now, one thing to consider, so it doesn't seem like the idea of testosterone's higher in the morning, so train in the morning, that really comes in, that really makes a big difference. Afternoons just seem to be better. Now, strength adaptations do seem to be time specific to what you're accustomed to. So, if you're used to training in the afternoon and you go train in the morning, you're going to perform not as well. If you're used to training in the morning and you try to go perform at night, you're not going to do it as well. Now, for most people, this isn't as big of a deal, but if you're a power lifter and you're getting ready for a powerlifting meet and you know that you are going to be lifting at 8 a.m. and you are used to training at 8 p.m., it probably, if you can do it, is going to be beneficial for you to get some early sessions in. Okay? So right now I'm preparing for Raw Nationals. I'm going to use this data. I'm going to make sure I do a squat and deadlift session and a bench session in the morning, at least once a week, because I need to adapt myself to that. I need to get used to that. When I was training for Worlds in Finland, I was going to be lifting at around 4 a.m. Or no, I'm sorry. I was going to be lifting at around 5 a.m. Tampa time. So I started doing some sessions early morning, 6, 7, now not 5 a.m., but 6 or 7. So I think the take home from that is that whatever time of the day you feel best is probably about right. But in general, maybe start, if you can train in the afternoon and that works for your lifestyle, then do that. And if you know you have an event coming up, try to do some sessions at the time when that event is going to be. Now, cardio, if your goal was to be as strong and muscular as possible, the study showed it was better to do cardio after you weight trained. So the group that had the best results was the group that did weight training in the afternoon and they did cardio after their weights. Now, some people had postulated that because you're after you finish weight training, you're in this catabolic recovery period where all your hormones are upregulating and you're upregulating muscle protein synthesis, that to then do cardio while that's going on could negatively impact the recovery process. Maybe that's true, but it doesn't seem to negatively impact it as much as doing cardio before weights impacts it. So if you can't do cardio at a separate time of the day, or you have to, if you can't, obviously if you don't have to do cardio, that's the best case scenario if your goal is strength and hypertrophy, then do it after. It seems to be that the law of specificity applies. So whatever you're going to focus on, do that first. And that goes for cardio as well, okay? So they showed that there was actually negative, that strength training first before cardio impaired cardio adaptations and cardio performance. So if your goal is primarily cardio and you're doing some weights because you want to do weights or you want to be strong, do cardio first and then do weights. So again, it boils down to specificity. So ideal scenario for strength and hypertrophy, weight training in the afternoon, no cardio. If you have to do cardio, weight train in the afternoon, do cardio at a separate time of the day. If you can't do it at a separate time of the day, weight train in the afternoon, do cardio afterwards. that seems to be the kind of progression of best case scenarios. And again, if you have an event coming up where you're gonna be like going in the early morning and competing, then make sure you do some sessions around the time of that event. That's it, guys. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe and share this video with your friends or people you think might like science. And let's help make America science again. Later, guys.